Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's not perfect, but you know what? Neither am I. So it's alright. That's what I think. It's alright. Let me throw a ring on. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you've been having a good start to the year. I realised that I haven't filmed anything new in a while, so my first video of the year is trying to bridge that gap. Did that make sense? I have a lot of things to get through, but before I do that, I wanted to talk you through my outfit a little bit, which I don't normally do, but I felt the need to do it today. So firstly, I just did a shoot with a really talented Bengali makeup artist called Shakira. I'm not really used to big lashes, but they do look cool. Secondly, my t-shirt is from a charity called SkatePal. They support young people in Palestine through skateboarding, which is so unique. I love that, it's so cool. The main design is actually at the back. So I changed the shirt around, if that makes sense. This is the back. The front, I will insert a photo so you can see what it looks like. Personally, if I were to design t-shirts, I would put the main design at the front, but you know, that's just me. You can do what you want. It's a great charity. Check it out, support the shop. They have some really cool things. I also am wearing this mesh shirt thingy. I would show you more, but I can't show you more. But it looks really cool. The details are immaculate, if I do say so myself. And it's from a Chinese brand called Muxin. They are a designer brand, probably my favourite. I was going to write my dissertation about them, so I do really actually like them. I also really love mesh tops. I have a drawer full of them, along with like other long sleeve tops, so I love this a lot. Oh, and this, maybe I could also give a shout out, is from a small company called Kiro. There's a lot of the same stuff on certain websites. No shade, sometimes it's slightly different, but anyway, this one is basically the Bangladesh flag. They had a pop-up shop that I came across recently, so I just bought it from there, but they have a website as well if you want to check it out. Basically, December 2020, I started a podcast called Nabblo Storytime. It's always been linked to my bio actually. If you look closely, it's there. And long story short, I made that for 2 reasons. 3 reasons? 2, 3? I guess we'll find out. To encourage myself to read more, because I am dyspraxic, if you didn't know. I don't really talk about it on this channel, but I talk about it on the podcast. And it means that I struggle with certain things, but I would like to say it's why I struggle with reading now as well. Skip to this timestamp if you want to actually just hear me reading the book. For now, I'm just going to ramble on about a few things. Try not to ramble, but you know what I mean. So, December 2020, I started a podcast called Nabblo Storytime. As the name kind of suggests, it's me reading stories, and I hate reading. My family members and people who are close to me will remind me that this wasn't always the case. And it's true, when I was younger, I actually really enjoyed reading, but basically, I went to University of Oxford. It's no joke, and that killed that passion. So I tried to bring it back through reading and forcing myself to read on this podcast. I wanted to encourage myself to read more, and I also wanted to offer comfort for people who are lonely, mainly because of lockdown or just in general. A lot of people like the sound of my voice, which is very strange to say out loud, but I hear this a lot, so I thought maybe, you know, that could be comforting, but also I have a lot of tangents when I read, so I was hoping if you listen to it, it kind of feels like you're in a room with a friend, you know? So check it out if you need something to listen to in your spare time, or if you can't sleep or whatever it is. Link is in the bio, it always has been. I technically need to record the last episode. Yes, last episode, because I told myself I will force myself to read for a year, and then after that I'll never touch a book. No, I'm kidding. So I told myself I wanted to keep that going for a year and then evaluate how it was going and see if I want to take it forward. At the moment, I probably don't want to, but I'm thinking of doing season 2 as interviews with interesting people. I was on a podcast called What Kind of Asian Are You? I think that's what it's called. And the host, Kyle, actually suggested that to me. We were having a discussion and it came up. So I like that idea. I might do that when I have time, because I have way too many things going on. My podcast is pretty fun. I read so many different types of things. One of them was actually a kid's book, and I pre-recorded that episode. I also recorded a YouTube video to go along with it. So this was sometime last year, but I still haven't uploaded that. So when I upload that in a few months, or whenever it is, you'll know. Because I think I should post it. There's just actually quite a few YouTube videos that I have recorded and even edited, and I just haven't posted them. One of my resolutions for the new year, I actually made some this year. I'll skip the personal ones, but one of the creative ones is that I want to post more stuff when they happen. So any shoots that I'm doing, any videos that I filmed, I want to post them when I make them, because then time goes by and I don't really care for them anymore. And that's what's happened with these old ones, but I will post them. Just wait for me. Today I wanted to read this book. It is called Wenjack, and it looks really pretty, and it's from my friend Benazir, who lives in Canada. So she sent this to me from Canada, and I think she bought a copy for herself as well. The font's a good size. How many pages are we? We have 97 pages. That's doable. Someone could read this very quickly. That someone is not me, but maybe I'm doubting myself. I was going to explain the significance of this book, but I definitely won't do it justice. So what I am going to do is try and read this, hopefully in a very calm voice, like in my podcast voice. So if you are trying to go to sleep, this will help you sleep. But that sounds so weird. I will try my best to not choke on my words, but it happens a lot, and we'll see about the tangents. So anyways, the author is Joseph Boyden. She sent me this a few months ago, and I've been saving it because I wanted to record a podcast episode, but I still haven't. So here we are today, just doing it as a video podcast episode. Oh, I'm so scared of words. The thing is, right, I really like writing. I have writer's block often, but once I get into it, I love writing. I have a blog, if you didn't know that. I've had it for around 7 years. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of creative writing, write a lot of short stories for my family, poetry. I don't really do that as much now, but reading, it's just a struggle. Page number 1, this picture of a bird. Oh my god, I called that a bird! It's a fish, it's a fish. See, you can't see pictures in a podcast. I have to describe them all the time. Page 1, suckerfish. Podcast voice. Page 1, suckerfish. Nabeela, please. Please. I haven't even finished one page and it's one paragraph. Okay. Wow, did you hear that sound of it? Maybe I just... You know what, let me not self-diagnose. Let's try this again. Page 1, suckerfish. Gimme Kwenda Nina. Do you remember? I remember. Me. My friends, the 2 brothers, call the pale teacher Fish Belly, or sometimes Sucker Belly. It's not very nice. They don't say it to his face, because he's strong and he smells like what the colour yellow or maybe brown smells like. And he has a room in the basement that scares the life from us. He calls me the slow one. Even though they took me away from my home 2 years ago, when I was 9. I am still in the first class, but Fish Belly says I get to go to a new class soon. I'm learning my English, me, but I won't lose my tongue. I pretend to be the slow one, so I don't forget my words. When the fish bellies, with shining shoes and guns tied to their waists, come to take me. Nindede. Nindede. Oh no, this is gonna stress me out. Oh no. I pretend to be the slow one, so I don't forget my words. When the fish bellies, with shining shoes and guns tied to their waists, come to take me, Nindede said not to speak my words out loud, but only to whisper them when they couldn't hear. Daddy. Nindede, Mama, Ni Mama, my sisters, Nimiseag, my dogs, Ani Moshag. I will see you again, yes? Indian, Ani... Oh? What? Anishinaabe? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce these words, like truly, truly, truly. Please, do forgive me. And if you know how to pronounce them, please tell me in the comments. But where were we? If the fish bellies hear me speak my words, they beat me with a stick and make me eat soap. Tonight is the night when they line us up and then we climb in the water tub. 2 or 3 of us if we're real skinny, and we have to wash the back of the one in front. Then we get out and Fish Belly rubs each of us with a wet towel. This means tomorrow is prayer day. I can tell which Iniji, which friend ran away from the school this week, by the long red marks on his back. Ever a lot of red marks. Ever a lot of friends who ran away this week. But Fish Belly, teacher has Fish Belly, friends who go out and catch them. We have a secret path, but maybe it's not so secret anymore. The Fish Bellies are good at catching Indian children. One day I will run, one day they won't hurt me anymore. Chapter 2 is called Crow. The 3 boys didn't plan to run away from school on that October afternoon. But the sun was warm enough that they took off their windbreakers and tied them around their waists, and it was the older of the 2 brothers who said to his younger sibling and to Charlie that they should go visit an uncle who would take them out on the trampolines so that the school people they called fish bellies would never find them again. A dozen children had run away from the school that week, but all had been captured and returned and beaten. The 3 boys made that impulsive decision on that Indian summer afternoon, as boys are what I want to do. Does that mean boys will be boys, basically? Okay, probably. They climbed the fence when they knew no teacher would be looking and disappeared like thin ghosts into the thick forest of spruce and poplar and willow. The 2 brothers covered ground quickly, walking fast and slipping into a run, pushing each other the way brothers who have nothing else but each other do. They didn't get upset when they had to stop and wait for pigeon-toed Charlie, placing thin red willow shoots into their mouths and chewing on them, squatting on their haunches and staring wordless at the forest ahead, their eyes carving the path they would soon take. Near the secret path that the children used to sneak away from town without being seen, Charlie found a discarded railroad schedule with a route map in it. He hoped this might serve as a guide to his home and carefully folded it and put it in his thin jacket's pocket. Charlie had a lung infection. Tuberculosis and similar diseases had taken thousands of Indian children's lives the last years in these strange schools, always built with a cemetery besides them, to bury those the attendants knew would not make it to the final grade. Charlie had once shown the two brothers the long red scar that began at his collarbone, then arched down and split his chest before curving off to his back. He'd been opened up by a white doctor's scalpel as a child. What? Sorry, wait a second. A scalpel is a tool and a scalp is your scalp. So is a scalpel just for cutting your scalp? I shouldn't be having that epiphany right now, but I do need answers. Please tell me if you know. And I'm sorry. Tangents, I'm sorry. They do happen. Let's try that again. He'd been opened up by a white doctor's scalpel as a child, but when the brothers asked him why, he claimed not to know or even to exactly remember how old he was when the scar was made. On this bright October afternoon, the sun beginning to fall and the cold beginning its wind through the black spruce, Charlie coughed and spat phlegm, his breathing a whine. When he caught up to the two brothers, no words were exchanged, nor any judgment or anger as the two boys rose from their haunches and bounded off into the growing darkness, Charlie following as best he could. How do we know this, you ask? We watched them. We, those who chose to, took the form of crows and followed them silently and swiftly, swooping by them, then hovering above before diving down to land in the branches of dying trees to stare upon them, our cobalt eyes sparkling to absorb the last of day's light. So now it's a hummingbird. Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay. Ever glad my friends wait for me. They go fast and disappear in the bush, and I have to look careful as I follow for ghosts of footsteps or broken twigs they leave for me, or the thin paths through trees that I know in me are the ones they take. Pause, sorry. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm reading this out loud, so maybe that's why. But you know when you read out loud, I don't know if you do this often, reading out loud that is, can you actually take in what you're reading? Because I swear to God, maybe it's the dyspraxia, maybe it's because I'm reading out loud. What did I even read? What just happened? Does that make sense? They walked into a bush. No. I think this is something I've said in my podcast. This is an amazing book, so I will not criticize it even though I haven't read it yet. But it talks about a very significant subject matter, so putting this one aside. But other books, is it necessary to use so many flowery terms? No, it's not. Sometimes you don't need to, okay? You don't need to sprinkle in 50 words into one sentence with one full stop, okay? You really don't. You can make your point without using all these unnecessary words. It's so distracting. And like, it's so stressful. Okay, let's go. Reading is so hard. I've read this sentence 3 times now. Okay. I need to stop and sit when I do. Nino Kazi, a hummingbird, comes near my head and stares at me. So close I hear her tiny wings hum before she flies away. Mashallah, I read the line. That is a good sign. I know it. Getting dark and I can hear something following. Is it the fish belly men? My body won't give me enough breath to run like my friends, but I try anyways. And every time I catch up, they stand from squatting and spit the twigs from their mouths and disappear again. But now dark is almost here, and I hear the fish belly teach a word, don't. I catch my friends, finally, and my inside chest burns, and I spit some red and white spit on the ground, but this time they don't stand and disappear again. I kneel beside my friends, and we huddle for heat, and don't say anything, but glance into each other's eyes, then look just as quick away. We all say the same thing without saying it out loud. Go back now, and get switched, but don't get real cold tonight. Or get real cold tonight and wait for light, but don't stop running to where we run. None of us wants to go back, even though we now understand how cold the night is going to be. We are going to stay anyways, and my inside chest begins to stop hurting as bad. Don't hurt, chest. The older brother reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out some toilet paper, and the other brother reaches out his hand into his own pocket and pulls out some dry grass. I reach into my pockets and feel the map. I will need this. I feel bad when my hands come out empty to say I have nothing. Let me read that again. I messed up. The older brother reaches into his other pocket and pulls out what looks like a little stick and holds it in front of him, showing it to us in the shadow like it's something we need to pray to. I lean closer. It's a match, but even in this little bit of light, I see that the blue head of it misses its red tip. The two brothers gather dried twigs, and then I watch as they kneel to the ground, their heads almost touching as they work together with their hands. The older one takes the match, and they both whisper, and then he picks up a small stone and runs the match across the top of it. Nothing. He does it again. Nothing. The third time he does it, I hear the match snap, and then the coo-coo-coo of an owl somewhere not too far away. The brothers say, "Gah," and then laugh quiet and sit down on their bums. I know what the owls say, when he says, "coo-coo-coo," but I don't want to tell my friends and scare them. Instead I tell them, "I saw a hummingbird, and it's a good sign for us." But the younger brother says, no, it's not, because they were all supposed to leave at the end of summer, and if one is still here, it will die of the cold. The brothers get up, and we walk to a big black spruce and snap its lowest bottom bits off and make a bed for us, under it from the green smell of it. Bro, come on. Don't lie, I was doing very well up until now. That was a long sentence, and I need some applause. Please clap for me wherever you are. In fact, just say a prayer, and I'm sure it will reach me. Thank you very much. That smell makes me want my home, and my nindere, and my sisters and dogs. The brothers whisper, and one hums a bit of a radio song, and then I listen. My eyes open and staring up through branches of gawan dag, of spruce, as both begin to breathe like waves coming into the beach with their breath of sleep. So dark now, under the night, and clouds that hide. So, I got cut off, it stopped recording, and I'm on my last bar of battery. I don't really know how that happened, but I'm going to take it as a sign. We are one page away from ending this chapter. We're only on page 16. I actually didn't get very far, and I blame that on me. I'm so sorry. I'm going to finish this chapter and probably end the video here so that it doesn't die again. So dark now, under the night and clouds that hide stars and moon, that I can only hear the mouse chewing on the toilet paper, and dry grass and dried twigs from our fire, the fire that couldn't live. I'm cold, cold. Ningikaj, ningikaj. I whisper as I flutter like a hummingbird to sleep. This is so difficult. Words. I'm just going to be a writer. Who needs reading? I wake from hard shakes, and in the darkness I feel like I'm all by myself, until the clouds pass, and in the light of Gizi's moon, I think I see an owl above watching me, and when I turn my head slow, I see the brothers curled together. Slow as I can, I move closer to them, and slow I curl as close to them as I am able, and soon we are three curved sticks floating on the back of a great and rough and freezing river that carries us and swallows us and carries us again toward the moving sun. Damn it, toward the sun morning. So close. Anyways, next chapter is called Owl. I feel like I haven't done this book the justice it deserves, but I didn't do too badly either. We're on page 19. The recording did get disrupted because the camera stopped recording, which is a bit awkward, but I think it was a sign to kind of draw this to a close. I will take that sign. If you enjoy this, please let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Most importantly, let me know your reflections on this book so far, and also how your year has started off. If you want me to finish reading it in another video or even on another podcast episode, let me know, and I will work towards that. Otherwise, I will definitely read this in my own time because I have been meaning to, and I always keep it in plain sight so that I don't forget, but I guess plain sight means that it gets camouflaged. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until then, I don't have an outro. Stay safe. Can I think of an outro? No, I can't. Okay. See you in my next video. Thank you. Bye. Third time lucky. Let's just go again. I'm getting so distracted. I'm sorry. I haven't even read the words yet. I am a person of colour. Pain. Should I just try that again? Okay. It's okay, Nabeela. Let's try that again. This is stressing me out. Can't read English.